Hello everyone, and welcome back to another 2 days of activity on the Blue Tits diary. And as I've mentioned on Facebook, I will be making these videos every 2 days or so until the eggs are hatched. Now I'm not 100% sure if there's eggs in there yet, but her activity has just lessened that a video today a day, it's just a bit of overkill. So we'll get right into it. Biddy woke up early 6:30 as usual, but she came back at 7:20 and went for a little nap. And she's been doing this a lot the last couple of days, coming in at different times throughout the day and having a nap. Now I would love to think that this is to do with egg laying and she's just a little tired. But I'm not 100% sure. As some of you have pointed out, there seems to be a lot less soft material in there than you would expect. And that is true. I've seen other birds bring in a whole lot more of soft material, so much so that it nearly completely covers the moss. But Biddy, I think, has decided not to do that for whatever reason, or at least not just as much. And we do play back and forth with that piece of moss that is in the way. You'll be thankful to know that it does eventually get out of the way. But as you see, she hits it on her way out every so often, and it has over the last couple of days moved out of the way, and then every so often gets pushed back in. So unfortunately we're going to be playing peekaboo with this nest if that moss persists. You can see she knocked it a little bit out of the way there. So you can see her bringing in a little bit of material that I have left out for her recently. It's been there for over a week now, and she's only really used this now. So it really goes to say that we will not know until we're 100% sure if there's eggs until she actually starts incubating. So we are playing a bit of a waiting game, but the anticipation is good. We can see here in this sequence that there's actually a little what looks like an ant down in the bottom left hand corner just over my tag name there. It climbs up that little piece of moss in a minute, and I would hate to be that ant in there now, because that blue tit would make short work of that little guy. And you can see here that she hits the moss straight back in the way again, which is we're playing a little bit of a back and forth with this piece of moss. So she comes in at her usual bedtime at around 8 o'clock and does a few little adjustments to her newly built nest, and then she heads off to sleep. And she can do this for quite a while, these little adjustments of the nest cup. And it's generally not till 10-15 minutes later that she actually decides to go to sleep. So on to the next morning, and by the time the night sensor is turning off and the colour is coming back to the camera, it's 6:10 and Biddy is still in the nest. And it's not till about 20 minutes later that she decides to leave, and thankfully she again hits that moss out of the way for us. So she heads off and gets a bite to eat, and she's not back in till roughly an hour later. So she decides to have another nap, and I don't remember seeing a blue tit coming in to sleep too often like this. So unless the eggs are being laid or have been laid, again, we are only guessing at this stage and we won't know for sure until they start incubating. But you see here that she goes for a little sleep at around 7:30. not a good 20 minutes to half an hour later that she decides to head on out again. So she starts to bring in the next couple of sequences more soft material, and this will continue. She will continue to build the nest, or to continue to complete the nest, even when there is eggs in the cup. And this is just to make sure to keep it soft and to keep improving the nest as much as possible. And some of you were asking that when do the eggs hatch? Well, that depends on when she decides to start incubating them. So she needs to lay the amount of eggs that she would like to lay, and then start incubating them. And once the incubation starts, it will be anywhere from 11 to 14 days, so roughly around 2 weeks, until they will hatch from that point. And they will stall sometimes. They do have to time this perfectly, as they need to time their young hatching with the emergence of the caterpillars in spring, especially the green caterpillar that can be found on the oak tree. It's a real staple diet of their young at this time. So it is at the utmost importance to get this timed right, because if they mix it and mistime it, their chicks will be hatched when there's very little food for them to eat, and this leads to very unsuccessful broods and a very low yield of chicks leaving and successfully fledging the nest. And we saw Miley just feed her there. She doesn't really know what to do with it, as she has nothing to lean against and eat it. It was rather a big mouthful. But nonetheless, she was in roughly around the same time as every night, around 7:30 yesterday evening, to wrap up for the night. So she works on the nest for a little bit and then decides to head on to sleep. And thankfully, that little piece of moss has been put out of the way for now. But as we may see it come back. But I haven't seen it come back or spring back up on today's footage. That will be out in the next couple of days. So hopefully it stays that way. As always, guys, if you're liking the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We'll see you again. Thank you.